Good evening. You're welcome to News at 6 from the studios of Big Family Radio. Now the headlines. President Mahama has signaled new era of governance at leadership retreat. Goodluck Jonathan has said that 4 years is not enough to deliver development. Ghana Journalism Association renews calls for state of emergency in Galamsey. Stoneboy is silent as Aisha Modi's allegation fuel fan feud. And in international news, China has also launched 6 new test satellites into space. Let's go for a quick commercial break, and when we are back, I would give you the details of these stories and more.
Admission, admission, admission. Are you looking for a computer institution with a serene atmosphere in equipping you with the ability to deepen your understanding and in-depth knowledge in computerization? Then the answer is Big Family Multimedia Institute. Our dedicated and experienced teachers are ready to provide personal attention, support, and help you bring your fusion to bear. We are located at Amasama Dobrogono, Upper Class Junction, and Santa Maria Family and Friend. For more information, contact 0555 20 80 56 0540 932 188. Website bfmnetworks.com. Email info@bfmnetwork.com. Other affiliates include Center for Trade, Big Family TV, Big Family News, Big Family Radio, Big Family Event, Big Family Multimedia Institute, KabaraInfo.com, Trustees, Okman Motors, Soko Mall, ABK TV Ghana. Enroll now and experience the difference.
You are all that matters.
You're welcome back. You can watch us live or follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Big Family Radio, and you can also follow us on YouTube and TikTok at Big Family Radio and Big Family TV. You can as well download our radio app on Google Play Store on Android and App Store on iOS. You can also read more of these stories on bigfamilyonline.com. My name is Esther Akusiagbobli. Now the details of the story. President John Dramani Mahama has called for increased indigenous involvement in the exploration and management of Ghana's natural resources as tensions rise over the expired lease of diamond mines. Speaking at the maiden executive ministerial retreat held in Ada, President Mahama stressed the importance of empowering Ghanaians to take charge of large-scale mining operations, particularly as the country continues to build local expertise, technology, and investment capacity. We now have the human resources, capital, and technology to manage our own natural resource concessions, Mahama said. It is time to prioritize local ownership and participation. His comment comes as the government faces a growing impasse with diamond mines following the expiration of its 30-year mining lease. President Mahama believes the situation presents a clear opportunity to transfer such concessions to capable local entities. He revealed plans by the National Democratic Congress (NDC) to develop an indigenous participation policy with the aim of boosting local content in the mining sector and ensuring the Ghanaians benefit more directly from the country's vast mineral wealth.
Recently, we had a little issue which we have resolved with one of our mining companies whose lease had expired after 30 years, and it was our desire to take it over and use Ghanaian expertise to be able to also exploit that resource and let the benefits remain in our country. Happily, we reached an amicable resolution to work together to transition that mine into Ghanaian ownership. But it leads me to what my thoughts are, that we must have an indigenization program for taking control of some of our natural resources. And so in the next few months, we'll develop a policy on indigenous participation in our natural resource exploitation. And anytime, we're not going to expropriate anybody's concession or anything, but anytime a lease comes up for renewal, we would want to negotiate to see that there's more Ghanaian participation, indigenous Ghanaian participation in these things, so that we can also raise the resources to bring prosperity to our people. You go to the mining areas and look at the communities around the mining centers, still steeped in poverty. Government has to replace schools and the trees, even at this time, build CHIPS compounds, repair the roads and all that. And we can only do that if we can get the resources from the natural resource endowment that God has given us. And so, yes, we would codify it, and as and when, the opportunity comes, we'll renegotiate some of these things so that Ghanaians can also participate.
Moving on, former President of Nigeria, Goodluck Jonathan, has described the 4-year presidential term in Ghana and Nigeria as inadequate for delivering sustainable national development. Speaking as a guest at the Executive Leadership Retreat in Ada, Ghana, Jonathan addressed ministers and senior government officials on the complexities of governance in West Africa, highlighting the limitations of the current tenure system. In Nigeria and Ghana, our tenure for president is so short. In Africa, it is only Nigeria and Ghana that have a 4-year tenure of presidency. Most countries have 5 years. What can somebody do in 4 years? He questioned. He also noted that the structure of the 4-year term significantly hampers a new president's ability to implement long-term policies. If you are a new person and you just came in, you need about a year before you will adjust. You work for 2 years. The next year is an election year. So time to really move your country is very limited, he added. Dr. Jonathan's comments come amid ongoing debates in both countries about the effectiveness of their presidential terms and the broader impacts on governance and national progress.
Getting the competent hands to man major departments of government is critical, and it's lacking in most of our countries. Already I've appointed their cabinet, but from the information I have, because I asked questions, I think, I'm not saying 100%. You can never get 100% because you must balance the situations. But the economic team must be made up of top-class people that can push. And they, too, must lead, because leadership is not the president alone. The ministers, the junior ministers, and others holding executive positions. Nigeria and Ghana, our tenures of president is so short. In Africa, it's only Nigeria and Ghana that have 4 years tenure of presidency. Other countries have 5. Most countries have 5 years. What can somebody do in 4 years? If you're a new president and you just come in, you need about a year as a learning curve before you will adjust. You work for 2 years, the next year is election year. So the time to really move your country is very, very limited. So you have this kind of restriction.
Moving on to other stories. Ghana will start issuing chip-embedded passports from Monday, April 28, 2025, according to the Minister for Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration, Samuel Okujeto Ablakwa. The upgraded passports, first launched on December 2nd, 2024, come with enhanced biometric capabilities aimed at streamlining travel and improving document security. Each passport features a microchip that securely stores the holder's biometric and photographic data, along with advanced anti-fraud elements, including both physical and hidden security markers. Replacing the current biometric passports, the new e-passports are designed to meet international standards while showcasing Ghana's cultural identity. Their designs incorporate iconic Edinkra symbols like Faunhudie, freedom and independence, and Futum Funi, Denchem Funifu, democracy and cooperation. Speaking at a press briefing in Accra on Wednesday, April 23rd, Mr. Ablakwa said the new passports are part of a broader reform agenda aimed at enhancing passport security, eliminating the role of intermediaries, and promoting transparency in the application process. He noted that the ministry is focused on delivering a seamless, citizen-centered passport service that is easily accessible and free from third-party interference. The rollout is part of a comprehensive package of reforms set for 2025. These include 24 passport processing, carrier delivery services, an electronic tracking system, and a 30% reduction in application fees.
Reforms that we are rolling out on the 28th of April 2025, which is Monday, the Monday ahead of us. And these are the 5 reforms. 1, we are switching from biometric to chip-embedded passports. 2, we are introducing 24-hour passport operations in line with President Mohammed's 24-hour economy policy. 3, we are introducing passport delivery services through courier to enhance convenience. 4, we are introducing e-tracking services for citizens to effectively monitor the entire passport application and delivery process. And 5, we are reducing passport application fees by 30%. That is from 500 Ghana cedis to 350 Ghana cedis by amending the Fees and Charges Act as soon as Parliament resumes from recess. And point number 5, I've been receiving a lot of messages, petitions from Ghanaians that we heard about the reduction, but anytime we go online, we still see 500 cedis. Ghana is a country of laws. We have something called the Fees and Charges Act. So we have intention. And we indicated in Parliament when we made that announcement that we will be amending the Fees and Charges Act. We have done that in Cabinet, but we have to come to Parliament for the amendment to take place. So, distinguished people of Ghana, that is why, even though we have made the announcement, we have announced our intentions, we have not seen the 350 reflect as of today. But as soon as Parliament resumes from recess and the Fees and Charges Act is amended, you can expect that the reduction will now reflect in your pockets, as we say in Ghana. May I urge our compatriots to strictly adhere to only lawful processes in acquiring passports. Please deal directly with staff of the ministry.
Now on the issues of health. Minister of Health, Kwabena Minta Akando, has addressed mounting tensions following his unannounced visit to the Tamil Teaching Hospital, stressing that he had no intention of disrespecting medical professionals during the encounter. The visit, which took place on April 22nd, was reportedly triggered by the death of a patient, Bavuk Salim, allegedly due to the lack of a functional ventilator at the hospital's emergency unit. A video of a heated exchange between Akando and Dr. Valentine Akupla, head of the Accident and Emergency Department, quickly went viral on social media, sparking widespread debate and public criticism. In protest, the Doctors Association of Tamale Teaching Hospital, DATTH, indefinitely suspended emergency and outpatient services. The group cited unwarranted attacks from the health minister and other officials and is demanding unconditional apologies along with the immediate provision of essential medical equipment and supplies before resuming full services. But speaking at a press briefing in Accra on Thursday, April 24th, the health minister recalled a personal experience to illustrate his empathy and commitment to the health sector. It can happen to anybody. It happened to me. When I had an accident, the first place I was rushed to was Inyinayini District Hospital. I never imagined that I would one day be at Inyinayini District Hospital, but I was there, he said.
In mind that at the end of the day, we are all serving the people of this country. let it not be said that due to the scarce resources we have at our various health facilities, the poor man, the helpless Ghanaian's life has been sacrificed. My doors are widely opened. I'm not a perfect human being, but I listen. And I'm prepared to work with everybody in the sector. I said, let's all come together and work together for the betterment of the health sector. It can happen to everybody. It happened to me when I had an accident. The first place I was rushed to was Nyahini District Hospital. I never imagined that I would one day be at Nyahini District Hospital, but I was there. And so today, sitting at where I sit, I will contribute my quota to the development of this sector. I have absolutely no intention to disrespect any medical doctor or any health worker. That will be the last thing I will do. But indeed, let it be said that respect is also reciprocal. I thank you for the opportunity.
Moving into other stories, the Ghana Journalists Association, GLA, has renewed calls for a state of emergency in areas where active illegal mining is ongoing. The Ghana Journalists Association said, though major steps have been taken to address the issue, including the arrest of some perpetrators and the revocation of the license of some mining firms allegedly operating illegally, a state of emergency and a repeal of LI 2462 will save the country's forest and river bodies. Addressing a press conference in Accra, the president of the Ghana Journalists Association, Albert Dumfour, appealed to the government to do everything in its power to bring illegal mining to an end. We, however, think that there is more to do to ensure greater success, such as the repeal of the law that allows for mining in forest reserves and the declaration of a state of emergency in targeted areas to ensure a frontal attack on Galamsey. He also demands from the minister and the government the protection of journalists and facilitation of their work in mining fields to enable them to discharge their duties without hindrance.
Government has put in place to deal with the problem of Galamsey under the auspices of the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources. We regret to note that the media is missing in these interventions, which makes us more gullible and exposed to what? To severe risk. In the near future, we shall be asking the Minister of Lands and Natural Resources questions about our reservations. And also, we shall be also engaging the police, especially the new IGP, to ascertain, to find out what they are doing to provide protection for journalists reporting from this hazardous Galamsey site.
Still on the same story. Meanwhile, the Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana Gold Board, Sami Gyamfi, has announced that legislative instrument LI 2462, which currently permits mining in forest reserves, will be revoked once Parliament reconvenes. Speaking to the media, Mr. Gyamfi reiterated President John Dramani Mahama's strong stance against illegal mining, commonly known as Galamsey. He explained that the delay in revoking the LI is due to ongoing legal deliberations over whether the law should be amended or repealed entirely.
Where you ended. Number one, LI 2462 will be revoked by the NDC Mahama government. Immediately Parliament resumes.
Correct.
there were legal issues as to whether or not it should be amended or it should be revoked. Because there was a school of thought that revoking it could lead to a certain vacuum. Okay. And that what had to be cured was the discretion or power given to the president to grant mining leases for people to mine in protected forex zones. Then there was another school of thought who said that, look, let's revoke the entire law. And even if we get a vacuum, we can't come up with a new LI to deal with that. But LI 24 is poisonous. It should go in its entirety. I think those who make that argument have won, and we are a listening government. Before I came here, I spoke to my senior brother and boss, the Honorable Attorney General and Minister for Justice, Dr. Ayine, and he gave me the assurance. He says, Ame, it is ready. Immediately Parliament resumes, that LI will be revoked.
Right.
The most important thing is that even before the revocation, government has begun the fight against the illegal mining menace, particularly mining in forest reserves.
Moving on to international news. Speaking to reports from the White House lawn, President Donald Trump asserted that trade negotiations with China are currently active and ongoing. While providing limited details, Trump expressed confidence that the United States will ultimately secure a fair deal with China regarding trade practices. However, he notably avoided directly answering a question about whether his administration is considering lowering existing tariffs on Chinese goods as a potential concession to reach an agreement. This ambiguity suggests that the U.S. position on tariffs remains a point of contention in the negotiations, or that Trump is intentionally maintaining flexibility in his negotiating strategy. His carefully chosen words suggest a desire to project strength and optimism, while simultaneously maintaining leverage in the ongoing discussions with China.
We're going to have a fair deal with China. It's going to be fair.
Are you talking to them actively now?
Actively. Everything's active. Everybody wants to be a part of what we're doing. They know that they can't get away with it any longer, but they're still going to do fine. And we're going to have a country that you can be proud of, not a laughing stock all over the world for many years.
How does it look in the meantime? Are you considering
it looks good, yeah. No, it looks good.
While you're negotiating?
It looks good. We were losing anywhere from $3 to $5 billion a day. Think of it. We're losing billions of dollars a day under Biden and other presidents, frankly. But under Biden, it got really worse. China got out of control. We're losing $1 trillion a year. Trillion, not a billion, not a million, $1 trillion. And now we're going to be making money with everyone, and everyone's going to be happy. But we're no longer going to be the country that's ripped off by every country in the world.
Moving on to other stories. Reverend Muntha Isaac, a Palestinian pastor from Bethlehem, reflects on Pope Francis's death and its meaning for Palestinians. Given his perspective, his reflection will likely focus on the Pope's support for Palestinian rights, the significance of Vatican recognition of Palestine, efforts at interfaith dialogue, levels of hope and disappointment among Palestinians, the Pope's personal compassion, and the future role of the Catholic Church in promoting peace in the region.
This is a sad day for many of us, for not just the Christian world, I would argue for humanity. Pope Francis was widely respected and beloved by many in the world, particularly in context of oppression. And he truly for us, and the fact that I here as a Lutheran pastor extend tribute and love for his legacy says a lot about the kind of ministry he has. For us as Palestinians, we truly lost a friend, someone who spoke with compassion, with full humanity about the plight of Palestinians. And I would argue that his position on Palestine reflected his overall theology of solidarity with the marginalized and the oppressed. And this is the teachings of the Gospels.
In other stories, in a recent episode of Variety's Actors on Actors Broadway series, renowned actor George Clooney engaged in a wide-ranging conversation that touched upon the current political climate in the United States. During the discussion, Clooney shared his perspective on the level of optimism expressed by former President Donald Trump regarding the nation's future. He likely offered insight into whether he shares Trump's positive outlook and what factors contribute to his own assessment of the country's trajectory. Furthermore, Clooney addressed the state of the Democratic Party, potentially offering his views on its strengths, weaknesses, and the challenges it faces in the current political landscape. He may have discussed the party's messaging, its leadership, and its ability to connect with different segments of the American population. Perhaps most notably, Clooney also revealed his thoughts on who he believes should be the next president of the United States in 2028. While the specific individual he endorsed remains undisclosed, his selection is likely to reflect his political values and his vision for the country's future. This endorsement carries weight due to Clooney's public profile and his history of political activism.
You know, the authoritarian, the demagogue, it goes away when they go away, and he will go away. And we will, and they don't have anybody that's as charismatic as him. He's charismatic. There's no taking that away from him. He's a television star. He is. He's charismatic. I mean, I don't agree with him at all on anything, but, you know, he was famous from a television show. Yeah, so I feel like we're going to be fine. We'll all get through it. And, you know, we do eventually find our better angels. We have every other time, and I think we will again. If you're a Democrat, we have to find some people to represent us better, who have a sense of humor and who have a sense of purpose. And, you know, we need to put some people out there. You know, there are a couple of guys, a couple of people that I really admire and I think could be, I think Wes Moore should be president. I think he's going to be a real force in the next election. He's the governor of Maryland. And I think we're going to have some interesting conversations, but we have to start that pretty soon, you know, quite honestly. But I'm looking forward to it. I think we'll get the House back in a year and a half, and I think that'll be a check and balance on power.
Still on international news, the European Commission has levied a substantial fine of $570 million against Apple, concluding that the tech giant engaged in anti-competitive practices by preventing app developers from informing their customers about alternative purchasing options available outside of Apple's App Store. The Commission found that Apple's policies restricted developers from steering users towards potentially cheaper deals or subscription services accessible through their own website or other platforms. This practice, according to the EU, limits consumer choice and unfairly benefits Apple by maintaining its control over app distribution and payment processing. In separate but related action, the European Union has also fined Meta, the parent company of Facebook and Instagram, €229 million, approximately $247 million, for violations related to its pay or consent system. The EU determined that Meta's system, which requires users to either pay a fee or consent to having their personal data used for targeted advertising, does not comply with EU rules regarding the lawful processing of personal data. Specifically, the EU found that the system infringes on users' rights to privacy and control over their personal information. The fines against Apple and Meta signal the EU's increasing scrutiny of large technology companies and its commitment to enforcing strict regulations on competition and data protection. William Denslow explains.
These fines follow a roughly 13-month investigation. The European Commission is saying that both Meta and Apple violated the Digital Markets Act. Meta fined $228 million over its consent or pay advertising model. Apple fined $571 million. The Commission saying they failed to inform users about offers outside of Apple's App Store. Apple and Meta have said this ruling is unfair. Apple say they will contest it in court. Both sides have 60 days to comply. The European Commission says that should this go to court, they're confident in their investigation, confident they will win. The Trump administration, amidst growing trade tensions between the EU and Washington, has previously said that any penalties on American tech firms would be met with retaliation. So all eyes will be on how the Trump administration will now respond. These fines follow a roughly...
The Ministry of Foreign Affairs of the People's Republic of China has issued a formal response to what it describes as the dissemination of false information and false news by the Trump administration and certain Western media outlets. These reports, according to the Chinese ministry, have falsely suggested that negotiations between China and the United States are ongoing or imminent. In its statement, the ministry unequivocally asserted that no negotiations or dialogue will take place between the two countries until the United States government rescinds its existing tariff policies. This firm stance underscores China's unwavering position that the removal of tariffs is a prerequisite for any meaningful discussion or resolution of trade disputes. The statement reflects China's determination to resist what it perceives as unfair trade practices and to maintain a consistent negotiating strategy. The ministry's forceful language suggests a significant level of frustration with the Trump administration's approach to trade relations and a commitment to defending China's economic interests.
近来，美方不断是有消息称，中美之间正在谈判，甚至将会达成协议。请问您能否证实双方有没有开始谈判？
这些都是假消息。据我了解，中美双方并没有就关税问题进行磋商或谈判，更谈不上达成协议。这场关税战是由美方发起的。中方的态度是一贯的、明确的，打奉陪到底，谈大门敞开。对话谈判必须是平等、尊重、互惠的。
Still on the issues of China, China has achieved another milestone in its space program with the successful launch of 6 new test satellites into Earth's orbit. The launch occurred at the Taiyuan Satellite Launch Center, located in Taiyuan Center. A Long March 6 rocket, which has been modified for this specific mission, served as the launch vehicle, carrying the Shuyuan-27 satellite payload into space. These satellites are described as high-tech spacecraft, indicating advanced technological capabilities and sophisticated instruments. Their primary function will be to support space environment exploration and various technology testing initiatives. This suggests that the satellites are designed to gather data about the conditions and phenomena present in Earth's orbit, as well as to elevate the performance and reliability of new technologies in the space environment. The information gleaned from these missions will likely be used to advance China's understanding of space and to develop new technologies for future space exploration and utilization activities. Still on international news, Massachusetts Governor Maura Healey supported Harvard's lawsuit against the Trump administration on Morning Joe, arguing that Trump's funding cuts to universities and research institutions harm American competitiveness. She warned that these cuts are causing layoffs, halting clinical trials, and helping China recruit U.S. scientists. Haley criticized Trump, saying his policies make America last and less competitive.
This is bigger than Harvard, and I stand with Harvard. I support what they are doing. It is very, very important that Harvard file that suit and stand up to the bully that Trump is. But let me tell you how it's playing out, because it's not just at Harvard. It's attacks on colleges and universities, on research institutions across Massachusetts, across this country. And here are the consequences right now. So already, I was on the campus of UMass Medical just last week. Because of Donald Trump's cuts, they've had to lay off 200 faculty members. They've had to rescind offers to 80 graduate students. Mika, these are scientists, okay? These are people who are discovering and working on life-saving cures for cancer, Alzheimer's, ALS, you name it. And all of that is being shut down. Here's what also is happening, which Americans need to know. The ones benefiting from Donald Trump's misguided attacks on our universities and on research are benefiting China. China is recruiting right now on our campuses all those scientists and faculty members and students who've been laid off or had their offers rescinded and say, come to China, we'll build you that lab, we'll give you staff. So for a president who is about America first, he's making America last, he's making us weaker, he's making us less competitive, and it breaks my heart. It breaks my heart to know that patients will suffer. They're already suffering, Mika, because we've had clinical trials shut down as a result of his dismantling of NIH funding, and that's compounded now by his effort to attack universities, and compounded by the attacks on our foreign students, right? He's scaring, for a guy who wants to reshore American talent, right? I mean, he is driving everyone, including American students and faculty members, out of this country because they want to be able to do their research somewhere. So this is a very dangerous situation, totally destabilizing, and it's really pointing America in the wrong direction.
It almost seems like self-sabotage.
In other stories, global economic governance expert Besma Momani has analyzed the economic consequences of former President Trump's tariffs on global markets. Her analysis likely covers the impacts on trade flows, economic growth, investment decisions, geopolitical implications, specific industry effects, and long-term consequences, including disruptions to trade, potential hampering of growth, investment uncertainty, and altered global relationships.
I think we're facing a very uncertain global economy, really unleashed by tariffs, the tariff war by Trump, and that's really put a lot of things into question. I wouldn't say we were in a healthy global economic situation before, still reeling from COVID-19's effect on the shocks to supply chains, many different global conflicts. So, I wouldn't say we were in a great position, but the uncertainty, the absolute chaos caused by Trump's trade war on the world, making a lot of markets nervous, not just the stock market, but the bond markets. And that all has the implication of uncertainty for monetary policy, and many financial ministers today very much confused as to what to do next in this environment.
In entertainment news, Ghanaian musician and socialite Showboy has publicly voiced his dissatisfaction with the Ashanti Regional Minister, Dr. Frank Amoakohene, regarding the invitation extended to the music group Asaka Boys to perform at the 2025 Ashanti Fest celebration. Showboy's criticism centers on what he perceives as the Asaka Boys promotion of red, a term often used to denote violence, gangsterism, or other negative influences. Showboy's stance suggests that he believes individuals or groups promoting such themes should not be given platform to perform at public events like Ashanti Fest, especially one overseen by a government official. His statement, Why give people who promote red the opportunity to perform? Highlights his concern that providing such a platform could be seen as endorsing or normalizing the negative elements he associates with the Asaka Boys' music or image. Showboy's objection likely resonates with segments of the public who also disapprove of content perceived to glorify violence or harmful behavior. He also criticized Daddy Lumber's music and said he also promotes adultery and the lyrics of his songs are profane.
Daddy Lumba promotes Asawo. Yes. And Asawo, Asawo. In California. Daddy Lumba promotes Asawo. Yeah, but what just say? Like so you are promoting the reason why you smoke. Probably. Do you realize that the younger people really learn them faster than you also realize that answer the question first. Do you realize that the young people actually consume them? They have to. And then you are now telling them why you smoke. Yeah. And you are, by way, you are also encouraging people to smoke. I didn't say don't smoke. I'm not going to smoke. And actually, smoking is not a crime. Who said it's not a crime? How is it a crime? It's a crime of Ghana. How? But are we not setting double standards? Are we not setting double standards? You are listening. How many of these Big Family Radio? Big Family Radio. We don't. Let me show next year. It was not meeting me. And I'm not a lawyer. I'm in the buy. Are you ready?
Bringing the news to an end, the feud between online personality Aisha Modi and Stonebwoy's fan base has escalated with the emergence of a past interaction between Modi and Stonebwoy's wife. Modi, a former supporter of Stonebwoy, Queen of Vim Nation, who financially backed him and his fans, ended her support in 2022. The current tension stems from accusations that Modi disrespected Stonebwoy, leading to harsh comments, including insults directed at Modi's mother. Modi issued an ultimatum to Stonebwoy and shared a screenshot of a crying selfie sent to Stonebwoy's wife years ago, alleging it followed a disrespectful call from the artist. Stonebwoy has yet to respond, leaving the situation tense. To end the news, the recap. President Mahama has signaled new era of governance at leadership retreat. Goodluck Jonathan has also said that 4 years is not enough to deliver development in a country. Ghana Journalists Association renews calls for state of emergency in Galamsey. Stonebwoy silent as Aisha Modi's allegations fuel fund feud. And in international news, China launches 6 new test satellites into space. To acknowledge my sponsors, Big Family Multimedia Institute, BFM Store, Center for Trade, Trustees Network Group. You can follow us and watch us live on Facebook and Instagram at Big Family Radio, YouTube and TikTok at Big Family Radio and Big Family TV. You can also download our radio app on Google Play Store and Android also. And you can also read more of these stories on bigfamilyonline.com. My name is Esther Akosua-Gbobli. A massive thank you to all my producers. Have a